Black Adam is directed by Jaume Collet-Serra. It stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Pierce Brosnan, Sarah Sashi, and Noah Centineo. And in the new DCEU film, in the city of Kandok, the champion Teth Adam, who is worshipped by all, comes up from his grave and starts to protect the city, while the Justice League try to take him down. But what they don't understand is that there is more evil lurking underneath in this city. So I've not really been a fan of this DCEU. I think they've had a couple of good movies. I like the James Gunn Suicide Squad. I don't mind Wonder Woman. I don't think it's as great as people say it is. But I love Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. So I was so hyped to see this film. And unfortunately, this film is not great. Also, at the end of this review, I'm going to have a little rant about cinema goers because this is a contender of one of the worst theatre experiences I've ever had. But without further ado, let's just go straight into the film review. So this film is not all bad, it does have some positives. First off, the acting. I do think Dwayne Johnson does a really good job as Black Adam. He is playing The Rock though. He is playing the same character like he does in every other one of his films. So that is a bit unfortunate, but for what he was given, I think he did a good job. I do think he's slipped in a few years, but I do like Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. I thought he was a very good character, and he is probably the more interesting character in the Justice Society. The action scenes were a lot of fun. I really do think they had some nice tension. They were shot well as well, and there's some very funny moments in this film. I was actually very surprised how funny this film was, even if it just messed with the tension a few times. But apart from those small things, this is not a good movie. When this film hits the writing side of things, it's terrible. It's a generic, cliche superhero movie. You've seen it 10 times before, and it just felt really dated, unfortunately. You gotta remember, this film's been in development for over 10 years now, so everything might be feeling a bit messy, and it did feel like it. And this film moved way too quick as well. It felt like there was a longer movie out there. I'm not saying we should release like a flipping Snyder cut of this film, but I do think there is a longer version of this movie out there that's been left on the cutting room floor. When it comes to the characters, especially the villain's awful. I don't even remember his name. I recognised his motivation even before it was revealed, and man is it weak. It's a weak motivation. I'm not going to spoil it for you, don't worry, but I really did not like that villain. He was really uninteresting. And again, it ends on a CGI monster fight. And I just want to move away from those things now in these superhero movies. I say maybe from about two of the characters, I did not like the Justice Society. We've got Atom Smasher and this other Justice Society member. That's how forgettable she was. But Atom Smasher was just there with a comedic relief. And he wasn't that funny, really. He was just there to add some comedic relief. And it was really cheap. He looked a lot like a B-Tech version of Deadpool. So yeah, that really disappointed me with him. I did like the character Dr. Fate, and this is a spoiler now, so 3, 2, 1. That was a very bad 3, 2, 1. But he does die when his development starts to get going. And that was a bit disappointing for me, unfortunately. The CGI is also very iffy. They try and face scan the Rock on this very thin guy, and whoa, it looked bad. Whoa, it looked awful. There's also some very bad green screen in this film as well. So the CGI side of things, sometimes it looked good, but the majority of the time it looked really cheap. I also think, apart from the slow-mo, which for once I actually did like, and it's not by Zack Snyder this time, but apart from that, there was no visual style of this film, and it just made the film really, really look flat. Finally, the music was just more licensed music, and I didn't like it. Like, we're having this very serious action scene, and we're popping off the Kanye song. So, yeah, that was really out of place for me. So, Black Adam, I can't really say much about it, because there's not much to go for here. It's another generic, cliche superhero movie, but I will say, stay for the post-credit scene. There's only one post-credit scene, but that is easily the best scene in the movie. However, it is a bit unfortunate that my favourite scene was a post-credit scene. So, Black Adam, it's not a good movie. The acting's good. The action's entertaining at least. There is some nice slow-mo here and there, and the humour lands fine, I guess. but it's cliche. There's some very crappy music. There's some annoying characters, undeveloped characters. So Black Adam isn't a good film. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 10. Wasn't anything great. But if you want to see this film, I'll go ahead. But the main question, does it reignite my interest in the DCEU? Yeah, maybe the post-credit scene did, but I'm not really holding my breath for any more DC projects at this moment in time. But now getting on to the thing that I did want to get onto, cinema goers. As I just said at the start of the video, this is one of the worst cinema experiences I have ever had in my life. Here's a little storyline segment from me now. Hope you'll enjoy this. So I sat down in the cinema just before the adverts. I got my popcorn, I got my drink, I put my coat on my lap, I was all looking good. And have you ever had that feeling where you just know something bad's gonna happen? Well, that's what I felt like with these people. These 10, I'd say about 13 to 17-year-olds came into the cinema. 2 of them sat near me, next to me, and then about 8 of them sat on the front row next to this old guy next to them. So they were very nice. Now, disagree if you want, but I don't mind people talking in the middle of the adverts, especially the trailers. I understand people don't really care about them, so if you want to talk through the trailers, I don't mind, but when you get to the film, I expect you to shut up. But these kids did not. They were on their phones, they were taking Snapchat photos, they were just talking all the way through, and it was very, very distracting. That guy who I'd said about earlier, he chatted to the people next to him to tell them, can you just please be quiet? And I told these 2 people next to him, listen, can you just please be quiet? And he went, oh, yeah, sorry. Still kept going, even the people in the front. And then they decided to go on their phones. So I basically said to them, look, can you just get off your phone? Or at least hide it to the point where I can't see your screen. And she gave me like a very dirty look, this girl. And she just went, yeah. And I'm like, whoa. So in the end, the people at the front wouldn't show up. So this guy who they were sitting next to decided to grab a staff manager. And he threatened to kick them out. Which I really do appreciate. But they kept going. But then all of a sudden, they left just before the final battle of the film. So what was the point of you coming? They obviously did not enjoy the film. But that doesn't matter. I didn't like the film, but I'm at least still respectful. There is a guy next to me, he obviously really liked the film, and that's great. You know, if he liked the film, and I respect that. But I don't respect people who don't like the film, and they try to ruin it for everyone else. I do think cinemas should really crack down on this, because it is ruining the cinema experience to an extent. So, cinemas, please, get your fingers out your arses and get this stuff sorted, because you are hurting yourselves here. But one positive side to all this, they've wasted their money and their own time. So it's their fault that they've lost about, I don't know, there's about 10. Cinema ticket usually costs about £7 in this cinema. So about 70 quid they've lost. So that's on them. So that was one positive side to this. But either way, these kids just had no respect, and people like this really grind my gears, and cinemas just need to sort it out, because it's going to make less people go to the cinema, in my opinion. But that's it for this little rant and this review of Black Adam. Let me know if you've had any experiences like this that I've just listed, and let me know what you thought of Black Adam as well. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and tell me that. If you liked it, that's your opinion. I'm glad you loved it. But guys, I don't know what's happening next time. Probably Barbarian. Finally, I'm seeing that film, because I've been waiting ages for that. But I hope you'll enjoy this review and this small little rant. Make sure to like and subscribe. Have a good day, and see you later.